Please welcome Richard Armitage. Goodness, I can tell we're in for a treat already there.
I'm just curious about granny showers.
We can talk about granny showers if you like.
I'm like, what's going on down there? Hi.
You might not be excited when you find out what it is, so we'll just kind of pass on. So that looks as if it's going to have us on the edge of our seats, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, it's Harlan Coben. He's a page-turning author, and his TV shows are just so addictive. And this is my hat trick for Harlan Coben, so yeah, it's brilliant.
And how does that work? Is that because he likes you, or is it because he uses the same producer that likes you, or...?
A bit of both. We've become friends over the years. The Stranger, we got to the end of shooting The Stranger, and I sort of said to both Harlan and Nicola Schindler, who's the producer, we've had such a great time on this, can we do a second season? But actually, Netflix really liked the standalone stories, and so when Stay Close came along, they said, do you want to do another? And then For Me Once, do you want to do another? And I'm like, yep, bring it on.
Why not?
And they're very, very different characters from each other, right?
Trying to make them as different as possible so I don't get found out. He just does the same thing. But...
Well, an obsession, of course, which both Judy and Jane were rather gripped by. You were a sex symbol, fair to say?
Apparently, yeah. 52 years old.
Don't play it down, Richard. Yes, you was.
It was quite raunchy. And did I read somewhere that you said a couple of other actors before you had been put off by how raunchy it was?
When the script was coming to me, it came with a little caveat of just brace yourself, because there's a lot in it and it's put some people off. So I read the book first before I opened the script, and the book is brilliant, but it's a kind of male confessional of some awful taboo, but written by a woman. So I don't know, I just found the whole thing fascinating and challenging, and something that I was just up for the challenge, you know.
Yeah.
Well, it was fantastic, from the psychological part of it to, you know, the relationship, and then obviously the steamy bits. And I know you'll have an intimacy coordinator, but what is the process? Because it was so intimate with some of the show.
Well, in the old days, some directors would get nervous and they'd put the camera on and say, just do your own thing and I'll leave the camera running, which was quite nerve-wracking. But now it's treated a bit more like a stunt or a fight sequence. So you get rehearsal time, you get choreography, you have an intimacy coordinator. And the brilliant thing was that Charlie Murphy, who played Anna in the show, and she's become a very good friend, our kind of way into the character was she would crack a joke before a take, and I'd beg her in the morning, please don't corpse me, because she's got this really wicked sense of humour. And, of course, she would, and then we'd end up in this banter, and the director would call cut, and she was brilliant at kind of going deadpan and into character. Meanwhile, I'm sitting there crying with laughter, trying to hold my ribs. But that was our modus operandi, really. We just really enjoyed each other's company.
It's interesting you say the director might get nervous, because I've never thought of that before, because you always think it's the actors who are going to be very sort of self-conscious. I guess for everyone on set, it's a bit kind of...
That's the thing that I hadn't considered as well, is that when you're doing something as intimate and challenging as this, the crew who turn up for work every day are witnessing something, and you don't want that to be triggering. And, of course, you know, you're on set at 8 o'clock in the morning in a freezing cold soundstage, so it's very dry. It's not as glamorous as it looks, as you will know.
Yeah.
And I believe in Fool Me Once, it was the little girl who really kind of broke the mood often.
Oh, my gosh, little Thea, who plays our 4-year-old daughter. I mean, the premise is that Michelle Keegan, who plays Maya Stearns, sees something unthinkable on her nanny cam, which is her dad, played by me, and this little 4-year-old in the playroom, but her dad has been brutally murdered 3 weeks before, so how could he possibly be in that room? So we had to do these improvised setups, and they just left little Thea alone to play tea parties with me, and the art department had put all of these poster paints on the shelves, and she toddles off and starts pulling out the boxes of poster paint. The crew literally went in there, grabbed her, pulled her off set, because there was about to be child-sized handprints all over the walls and all over me. So she was just a brilliant... I mean, it's so brilliant working with little ones like that because they bring something to life.
Which is supposed to be the opposite of what's the truth. Never work with children and animals.
Children and
When you get a
animals.
good one, it really makes a difference, doesn't it?
They bring this honesty and this sort of bright, you know, unexpected improvisation to the room. And, yeah, we had a brilliant time with her.
So you're Harlan Coben's go-to, perhaps, and you yourself are writing a novel. That's a tough job, writing a novel.
As you know.
Yeah.
I did, yeah. It was published this year. It came out on Audible, first of all. But, yeah, Harlan became a bit of an unconscious mentor to me. I've interviewed him for his book release and secretly asking him questions, getting tips out of him about how to write, like, a page-turning thriller. So
yours was a thriller as well, was it?
Yeah, crime thriller. And I'm in the middle of writing a second.
Really?
Yeah.
That's great.
I got bitten by the bug and I can't stop now. It's like the floodgates are open.
Is it nice to kind of do something in private, if you like, because the rest of your life when you're acting, you're very much sort of exposed, whereas this is something that, you know, you do...
Just lock in a room.
Well, sorry, I did bad pun,
yeah,
sorry.
No, you're right. Yeah, and also, what's been interesting going on the tour with the Geneva book is meeting other authors who also have day jobs, because I have a day job, which is, you know, to try and be an actor and try and produce things as well. Geneva's actually been optioned by Sony, so it's going to be a TV show. So I've got to try and do that.
Are you going to be in it? You don't know.
I have to be in it, but at the same time, it can take, you know, 5 or 6 years to get something up and running. So I'm maybe too old by the time we get into it. But it's nice to be, yeah, like you say, it's nice to be the architect.
Yeah.
I heard a rumour that you have a New Year's resolution list, that at the end of writing a list, you go outside and you burn that list? Is that right?
I have a list of intentions for the next year, and I 10 intentions, write them down, go outside and set fire to them. But it's just so you send them out to the universe. But you have to be in a place that's fire retardant.
I love that.
And without a wind to blow it all back in your face. So, yeah, but I do that.
I'll try that.
Yeah.
You've been asked a million times, but I've got to ask, are you still on the James Bond list?
Apparently, I keep...
Well, I mean, look,
I was going to say, that the look, this is giving James Bond in.
The roll next got milk tray and James Bond mixed together like mystery.
Yeah, if only I could swim, I would do milk tray.
Would you fancy it?
Do you know what? My little nephew, every time I go home, he's like, "Are you going to be James Bond, Uncle Richard?" I'm like, "No, you've just read it in the papers." I think James Bond with a Zimmer frame is probably not apt. I'd cast a guy in his 20s, but I'd be up for playing a Bond villain.
Oh, well, we'll keep our fingers
Just
crossed.
putting it out in the universe.
Putting it out.
I'll write it on my list and then burn it.
Absolutely. Well, Richard, thank you. It's been so lovely to speak to you. Thanks for coming in. Richard Armitage.
Thanks for having me.